Let's talk about the astrology of August 10th through 12th of 2024. So we have the moon in Scorpio during these 3 days, and the moon is in an intense place in Scorpio. In astrology, it's considered its fall, because with the moon in Scorpio, it has to go so deep into the emotions that it's not even touching the surface. So the moon in Scorpio is deep. Our feelings are very profound, very primal, very intense, very rooted in our desires. So on August 13th, we have the moon forming a square to Pluto. August 10th. So this is when the moon first enters Scorpio. It immediately makes contact with Pluto. So Pluto's the planet of transformation. It's all about dissolving the ego to get to the spirit of who you are and finding the true meaning of your soul and fulfilling your soul's, destiny in this lifetime. That's a key thing with Pluto. It's all about making sure that you're being authentic when it comes to this is what I want. This is what I desire, and you can really harness a lot of power when it comes to going after your desires. So this represents, because it's a square, the moon square Pluto, squares are 90-degree angles between planets. This represents compulsive behavior, of all different kinds of things, so that may come up during this time. So deeply buried feelings can also come up at this time. It's just word come up for healing at this time. So be aware of those feelings that you have that come up at this time. It's time to really feel your feelings and integrate what you haven't integrated yet. And sit with those emotions, not just like denying them or pushing them down. And so it's also important to find a way to let those intense emotions out. It may be anger, it may be fear, it may be negative reinforcement. This is a time to really recognize your blind spots and recognize what you need in order to heal yourself at this time. This is a healing aspect where you can go into the shadowy aspects of yourself and integrate those things and feel those things and express those emotions. In constructive ways, of course. Because you can also use this energy in a negative way where you can express the negative emotions in destructive ways which hurt your relationships, etc. So, it's time to let those emotions out at the right place, at the right time, in the right way. There may also be power struggles with friends or family members. So those things come up, arguments, fights, conflicts can come up during this time. It's important to be conscious and aware of those emotions that come up and also of those conflicts of those that would come up. What are the real motivations of other people? What are the real reasons why you're fighting? Is this worth arguing about? What are my true intentions when it comes to fighting? And what do I want when it comes to the fighting? And also, what does the other person want? What are their feelings? What are their motivations? What are they fighting about, and why are they fighting about it? This can also be good at eliminating bad habits, so any bad habits that you have in your life. This is great to transform those and evolve those into something for your highest good. Because Pluto wants you to, as the planet, it wants you to transform and be integrated for your highest good. Now, we also are going to see the moon forming a sextile with Mercury. So, when we have Mercury, the planet of the mind, the planet of how you interpret things, how you learn things, it's the planet of communication, coming to the sextile with the moon, which is your emotions and instincts, it represents receptivity and the divine feminine. This is a time where talking and communicating with family members and loved ones really pays off. You may also be feeling in a talkative mood during this time, wanting to chat, have conversations. This is a good time to intuitively understand where other people are coming from, intuitively understand and have conversations where you're talking about your feelings, and also understanding other people's problems, and other people can better understand your problems. So this is great to have emotional conversations about the problems and about the feelings in your life at this time. Opening up your mind to curiosity, being willing to learn, being willing to listen to what the other person is saying, be willing to take in emotional nurturance from them, being willing to take in, loving energy and loving, caring words and phrases and sentences from the other person. So this can also work really well for delving deep into one subject instead of skimming the surface, because Mercury is so interested in many different things, and sometimes we can get caught in the superficiality of things where we're, learning one thing over here and then one thing over there, but not really taking the deep plunge into one or two different things. So now's the time to delve deeply and really learn those skills that you want to learn, and really hone those crafts, to really delve deep into what you want to learn and uncovering the true answers of what you're willing to get into. Um, and so this can also be very good for collaborating with others to achieve meaningful outcomes. This is also wonderful for writing about your feelings, communicating those feelings, writing, expressing those feelings in some way or another, writing them down on paper, because what that does is it gets the feelings out of your system. They become conscious, they become physical when you write them out, and they're no longer trapped inside you anymore. It's like you open the gate of the prison cell and you let those things out. Um, and you are willing to face those things head on when it comes to writing them down. And this can also be very good for harmonizing with the loved ones in your world, um, having those meaningful conversations. On August 11th, we have the moon coming into a sextile with Venus. So this is a great time for socializing with people, maybe putting on celebrations, maybe putting on a dinner if you want to invite, friends and family over. Um, this is also great for creating beauty in your life. Maybe it's beautifying your space, maybe feng shuiing your space. Maybe you want your bed over a different side of the room, or you want something in your kitchen to be rearranged. Or maybe hanging up paintings and pictures and polka dots and putting the right books on your shelf. All these aesthetic elements can become lit up during this sextile, where it becomes really important that your space is beautiful and that there's a lot of chi and harmony um, in your space, and that your space and that your environment is well balanced. And it supports your life instead of hinders it. So this is great for being emotionally, socially charming, and open about your feelings, having conversations with loved ones about your feelings, connecting on an emotional level with the people in your world. And also it's great for doing fun things with others that involve pleasure and creativity, like going to a museum, or going to an art show, or investigating a tripodonta trip, or maybe going to the library and selecting books that you want to with somebody else. Um, or maybe putting on a play, finding some, or maybe playing a game outside in the backyard. Whatever fun thing that you want to do with the other person, this is wonderful energy to do that. Now, on August 12th, this is the first quarter moon in Scorpio. So This is when the sun in Leo comes into a square with the moon. So we've had the new moon on August 4th in Leo. Now we're coming to the first quarter moon. So one of the aspects during this first quarter moon is the moon is going to trine Saturn. So this is Saturn is the teacher, represents the authority figures in our life. It represents the big giants that have total authority and control over our life. It represents being grounded and disciplined with you and what you want to achieve in your life. So this aspect is can make you feel more grounded and patient, knowing that things don't take, Rome wasn't built in a day. It can make you patient with, achieving what you want to achieve and making those little baby steps towards your final destination. And so, you're building up the foundation brick by brick, one brick upon another brick, one's foot in front of the other, knowing that your hard work over time can pay off. And something to note during this transit is you can achieve anything that you can believe as long as you're willing to put in the work. And Saturn is all about the work that you yourself, with your own blood, sweat, and tears, can put in. And so this can be strong instincts and common sense. So both your strong instincts in situations and you have common sense and logic when it comes to making your decisions. You're very practical when it comes to your choices at this time. And so this is also wonderful for connecting with ancestors, connecting with older people, particularly older women, because the moon represents the women in our life, or connecting with the ancestors, seeking wisdom from them, and looking through old photo albums. And this aspect can also make you feel more persistent towards facing challenges. Um, and um, facing those difficulties in your life head on with not giving up, the grit, the stamina, the commitment to, face those challenges um, head on. It's also great for that. And so, with the energy of the first quarter moon, this is where we're connecting deeply with ourselves because we're delving deep into our deep emotions because the moon is in Scorpio. This is great for shadow work. This is also great for self-love. Really loving ourselves, and loving all the shadowy aspects of ourselves at the deepest level. Finding the light in the darkness within ourselves. Um, And so we have the sun in Leo, which represents childhood and children and the real spirit of being a child, shouting things from the rooftops, dancing and jumping around because we feel happy, just the innocence and just children in our lives that are guided by their spirit instead of their ego, that they authentically express how they truly feel without the ego wanting to take control over their actions. So Leo represents children in that regard. So this is also a time where we want to connect with our desires. The Scorpio rules our desires and really follow our hearts. If there's something that we need to do or that we desire to do or that we want to do, now's the time to really listen to our hearts, to listen to our inner knowing and move in that direction. Delving deeply into things is also great for that. Now, with the sun squaring the moon, this can create emotional pressures and tension in the home environment. There may be arguments with family members. There may be just a tense energy in your home environment. When the sun squares the moon, the heart and the head don't necessarily work well together because the sun and moon are fighting with each other. The sun is your conscious awareness, your ego, your mind, those kind of things like that. and then the moon is your unconscious impulses, those things just squaring off. Um, so this can be a time where negative emotions can rise up and be expressed through the ego. So pay attention to those emotions that come up during this time and choose to feel them, integrate them, and express those feelings in constructive ways. That's the advice that I have for you during this time. And so then the final aspect is the moon is going to form an opposition to Uranus. So this can create, a strong feeling of independence that may be contradictory against what you need on an emotional level. And this can be food, this can be the material, physical things in our life, and the intellectual, emotional things that we need emotional support on in our lives. So this can also create mood swings as well, becoming easily distracted. Um, but the invitation here is to be spontaneous, to change something up in your routine. If your routines are stale, same old, now's the time to do something different. There becomes a strong need with this opposition to do something completely different that you'd never done before. So that's the invitation for this time. Now, to get more clarity and get some advice for navigating these couple of days, this is the part of the video where you need to really put your motivation towards what you're going to consider or maybe do during this couple of days. So this is the really important part of the video right here. So I drew a couple cards from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed. This is an oracle deck. And I first asked the question, what does the collective need to know in order to navigate the Moon Scorpio transit? And I got the Horse King, which represents assistance and control, but it was in the reverse position. So this is how it looks upright. This is how it looks reversed. So it came in the reverse position. So this is asking the question, why do you feel like you have to do everything yourself? Why do you feel like you have to control every aspect of your life? And so it's important to recognize that you have help. You can ask for help. This is a time where you want to consider asking help, inviting help into your life. This can be about not, being stubborn, and refusing the help around you, but inviting and receiving the help around you from the people in your world. If someone reaches out to help you, this is about inviting that in and asking for help, being open and having those emotional conversations with others and um allowing other people to be in your life and help you and support you. So this is all about letting go of control of your life and letting go of control of your environment. And the second card I pulled, which was asking the question, what do we need to do in order to navigate the first quarter moon in Scorpio? I got the Sun Dancers, and on the last video, I believe I pulled this card last time. So this is about praising the good things in your life, recognizing the positive things in your life. So recognize what's positive in your life. And this isn't always easy to do if you're caught in the cycle of negative enforcement. But focus on what is positive about the things in your life. If you feel like you've ruined your oracle decks, think about the fact that you still have those decks, at all. And so recognize the positive things about the various aspects of your life. Choose to see the positives, like focus on, the weather, how beautiful it is. Maybe you take a walk in nature and find beautiful flowers. Like really milk those beautiful things in nature. Milk those, beautiful bush of flowers. If you're eating a meal, stop and enjoy and savor the meal and enjoy the pleasure and the good taste of that food. So, this is about choosing to be present and see the positives and opening up to the abundance in your life. And knowing that things will be coming to you in divine timing. Um, and if you want something, then if it doesn't come to you, it's not meant for you at this proper time. The right thing at the wrong time is the wrong thing, that kind of thing. Um, so, this is really all about being present, staying positive, and giving thanks for the various things in your life and praising the good things in your life. So that is the invitation for these couple of days. I really hope that you found value from this video. And if you did, please consider sharing it so that more people can see it. And you can also click the like button so that it gets out to more people. And consider subscribing to my channel on your way out of this video. And hit the little notification bell so that you can see my newest video uploads. So that's all for today. Bye for now.